We've seen this throughout the series, Skip. It's really difficult for the Heat to score points unless they can turn you over and get easy buckets in transition. Well, in the first quarter, Jaylen Brown picked up where Jaylen Brown left off, turning the ball over. What did they have? They had 10 first-half turnovers. They had 5 in the second half. They had 6 in the first quarter. So now, all of a sudden, Miami can get easy buckets. Plus, offensive rebounding. They had 5 offensive rebounds, so you get easy second-chance points. Now, Boston cleaned that up in the second half, and they played defense. You see Robert Williams closing out on three-point shots. You tell me that Miami Heat is the best three-point shooting team.
I don't tell you they were.
I can't tell.
Yeah. Well, what do the stats tell you? Help me out. What do the stats tell you? Who was #1 in three-point shooting in the league?
The stats tell me they missed 38 threes last night. They shot 15%.
What did the stats tell you about the regular season? Help me out. You said you tell me. No, the stats told you.
See? I told you what I told you.
Is your nose running?
Yeah.
Huh?
It tells me, Skip, is that you know and I know that playoff basketball.
They led the league in three-point shooting at 38%. Thank you. Go to your next point.
But
okay,
playoff basketball and regular season basketball are entirely different.
Okay.
You can play the style, and you could possibly be the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
They were.
But you better have more than one guy that can go get you a bucket, because when you get in the half-court set and you only got one guy that can really go create his own shot, and he happened to be gimpy, boy, you up a creek without a paddle. And that's what's going on right now, Skip. It is so difficult for the Miami Heat to score baskets. What is this? Okay, you get 19 in the first quarter, 23 in the second quarter, 16 in the third quarter, 22 in the fourth quarter.
Tell me when it's my turn.
Go ahead, your turn.
No, go.
Go ahead.
Well, you're asking me these questions, and I'm going to answer them.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I will go. You know, Joel Embiid tweets last night, the Miami Heat need another star. Baloney, they need another star. They got one who has completely quit on them while acting like he's still playing, and that's Jimmy Butler. And baloney, they need another star. They have the freaking 6th man of the year sitting on the bench in street clothes. He averaged 21 points a game. Tyler Hero. Nobody comes off the bench and impacts a game better than Tyler Hero. He shot 40% from 3 during the regular season, and if he had been healthy last night, if he hadn't pulled his groin last night before the last night's game, they win that game going away, because your team stunk. For 2.5 quarters, your team stunk. And I got to say, up off the top, before I get into all the reasons that this game swung the way it did, this was as embarrassing an NBA playoff game as I have ever witnessed, and I've watched a whole lot more than you have. In the end, the NBA should be ashamed of both teams last night, because in the first half, your Boston Celtics flat out stunk. Your man, Jayson Tatum, what was he in the first half? 1 for 9? 1 for 5 from 3. Jaylen Brown wasn't much better with 4 turnovers in the first half. Your dynamic duo stunk. This game went all the way deep into the third quarter with the Boston Celtics are begging the Heat, please just go ahead and win this game. And they missed, and they missed, and they missed. I want everybody to understand, to your point about 38 missed threes, would you believe that is the second most missed three-point shots in the history of the NBA playoffs by the team that shot the best from 3 in the regular season? I want you to think about that. The team that shot 38% from 3 in a home game 5, tied 2-2, the biggest game of the year by far. They missed 38 threes. It's only one off the all-time record for missed threes in a playoff game. Guess when it came? Remember what Chris Paul did when he got shipped out to Oklahoma City and he miraculously took the Thunder to the bubble playoffs? Remember that team?
Yeah.
Okay, that was a game 5. It was tied 2-2 with Houston in the bubble. And those Thunder missed 39. Only one more. Missed 39 threes because Lou Dort went 0 for 9 to quote-unquote lead them. They actually bounced back and won game 6 by making 14 three-point shots. But remember, the Oklahoma City Thunder that year ranked 17th in three-point shooting. This was an all-time abomination, embarrassment, humiliation for the Miami Heat at home. And I got to tell you, that third quarter got so bad that has to rank as the worst third quarter in the history of Miami Heat playoff basketball. There's been nothing like. They shot 1 for 14 from three just in the third quarter. And your team is gagging its guts out saying, please take this game, please take it. And I got to show you, the turning point of the game came on the sequence in which they keep getting offensive rebounds because P.J. Tucker actually played his little ass off last night. And what happened on one, if we could show this is about 8 minutes left in the third quarter. My man, Max Strus, who has come up big, shot big, played big for the Miami Heat. Can we see what Strus did on 2 shots in the same possession with an offensive rebound in between? This is the game right here. They're up 1. They're still up 1 with 8 minutes left in the third. Way short, and P.J. Tucker tips it back out, and Strus says, I got another one. And he misses it again, and Spo yanks him, and he went to the locker room. I don't know if he's hurt too. I don't know. He went straight to the locker room, never to be seen again. And that was the end of the Heat as we knew, and I loved them. This thing is so over because this is a troubled basketball team revolving around a Jimmy Butler who last night, it's really been 2.5 games. He has quit on this team. He plays, but he's such a shrewd operator that he plays just well enough to get by, where it looks like he's still out there trying, but he's really not trying because he missed 18 shots last night. That's impossibly bad for a guy who was averaging 35 a game in the first 2 games of this series, who was averaging 30 points a game in the first 12 games of this playoff run. And all of a sudden, he's only scoring 9 points a game in the last 3, and he failed to show in the second half of Game 3 at Boston. He just wouldn't play. Is his knee that bad? I don't know. When he's playing, he looks fine, but he doesn't even try to score while he's playing. And when he does get an open shot, he clanks it. And we don't need to see all 18 right now, but I just got to show everybody the game is still hanging in the balance. Could we just see the 2 air balls that Jimmy Butler shot to start the fourth quarter? This is when I said, this is it. Something has gone completely wrong here. Here's Jimmy Butler. He gets a wide open 3, and he missed that by about 3 feet short. This is Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy. And then he gets another jumper, pretty wide open, and he misses it 3 feet long. And I'm saying, wait a second. Compared to games 1 and 2, Jimmy Butler is looking more like Alfred the Butler. Seriously, where he's just completely lost it. Playoff Jimmy, as I was calling him, is now way off Jimmy because it looks like he can't even play basketball anymore because even on open shots, he just looks up and clanks it, and it starts to look like he doesn't even care to try to make a basket. And because of that, because of Bam Adebayo, who has been a driving force for them in Game 3 when they went and stole a game to make this series 2-1. Bam goes 31, 10, and 6 at Boston. Last night, the crowd is rising up every time he touches the basketball like, oh, like, go, shoot, attack, do something. He's an all-star. Bam Adebayo, just do something. And he was afraid to even try to shoot.
But he gave you what he normally gives you in the regular season, which is 18 and 10. Well, that was an anomaly Game 3 when he gave you 31 and 13. Okay, that's an anomaly. That's not what he is.
No, he's been that his whole career. No. In big games, he comes up big for this team.
But he's not a 31 and 13 guy. You're making it seem like he's Nikola Jokic. He gave you what he's given you in his all-star seasons, which is 18 and 10. Yeah. He gave you that. When he got aggressive, the game was out of hand. I don't know, maybe it's my television, but if you watch these games, they've played 5 games. The Miami Heat has won 2 quarters. They won the third quarter of Game 1. They won the first quarter of Game 3. Other than that, the Boston Celtics have dominated. When the Celtics don't turn the ball over, Miami gets blown off the court. And you watch the second half, 5 turnovers. Look at the run they went on. 10 points in the final in the third quarter, the final 10 points, and then go on a 14-2 run. So a 24-2 run over about a 5-minute stretch. Why? Because you guys can't score in the half court. If you don't get easy shots, you've got one guy that can go create his own shot. The reason why they benched Duncan Robinson is because of his defense. Strus can't guard a park car with an Uzi. Who the hell he guarding? So now they put him in pick and roll. They put Kyle Lowry in pick and roll. Man, Kyle Lowry looks like a shell of himself. He looks like a shell of himself. So now all they do, your backcourt, you go 0-15, 0-12 from 3. How the hell you expect to win a game? I don't care who you got. You can have playoff Jimmy, playoff superstar, all-star Jimmy. If your backcourt play as bad as Miami Heat's backcourt played, you're not winning that game. And you mentioned Tatum and Brown. You like the fourth quarter. You like second half. They take the game over in the second half, and all you want to talk about is what they didn't do in the first half. Talk about what they did in the second half.
If Tyler Hero plays last night, you lose. It's as simple as that. He is a force coming off the bench, and he has been a shell of himself. And Kyle Lowry is a multiple-time All-Star, and as my friend Brian Windhorst wrote today, speaking of the 0 for 15 backcourt, Brian wrote his explosiveness, Kyle Lowry's, his explosiveness has been robbed by a hamstring injury. So he shouldn't even be out there.
Right.
Oladipo should be, but even when Oladipo came in...
He was bricking shots last night.
He bricked 2 shots that they hit nothing but backboard.
Right.
They didn't miss everything, but they hit nothing but backboard. And he had 2 horrendous turnovers on breakaway plays that should have been easy dunks at the other end. And you just can't do that in a game that is this seesaw back and forth.
Right.
And now I get to what Windhorst wrote about my man, playoff Jimmy. He says, in Game 5 last night, the Celtics essentially stopped guarding Jimmy Butler. They backed off Butler and treated him as an unskilled screen setter, not the team's most dominant offensive player. They need another star. Stop it. They need this star. Here's the quote from Ime Udoka after the game. Butler wasn't looking to score. We wanted to keep a big on him and play him as a big, meaning a non-shooting big.
Yeah.
This is playoff Jimmy we're talking about. What in the name of Dwayne Wade ever happened to playoff Jimmy? From the halftime of Game 3 on, he has been a disaster because it looked like, this is just me, I don't have any background knowledge of this, except I know a whole lot about Jimmy Butler's past, not only with Miami, but in Chicago, and Minnesota, everywhere he's been, Philadelphia, everywhere he's been, he has had incident upon internal incident clashing with players and coaches. He clashed publicly in the right before everybody's very eyes in that game back in March with Spoelstra. And something has happened. Something internally has gone way wrong because this looked like a troubled basketball team revolving around a Jimmy Butler who time and time again last night would dribble tentatively, half-heartedly into the lane and kind of look around like this is attack mode. See, this is where you just go. Just go and get to the foul line. Would you believe, what's the stat on this on Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Butler, this is the worst 2-game shooting stretch of his career. I'm not going to be able to put my finger on the stat right now. I think he shot 6 free throws since he started, quote-unquote, quitting on this team 2.5 games ago, after he shot 29 free throws in the first 2 games. That's called attack mode. That's called aggressiveness or lack thereof.
Well, here's the thing, Skip. If his knee is bothering him, obviously he can't attack, and that's been a part of it. You look at Chris Middleton. I'm not so sure the Boston Celtics get by Milwaukee if Middleton's healthy.
You could be right.
But you got to play. I don't mind a guy playing, Skip, but you can't use injury as an excuse if you go out there and you don't play bad. If you play hurt, Skip, you better play well. It's as simple as that. And I noticed it last night also. They had Grant Williams playing Jimmy Butler. They put Al Horford on Jimmy Butler. I say, are you serious?
Are you serious?
But, Skip, when you look at it, if you look at the Miami Heat, Skip, they really only got one guy that can go get you a bucket. And you were right, Tyler Hero was dressed. He was dressed like Sonny Crockett in Miami Vice. You see him with the white linen shirt and the pants and the clip.
He looked good.
Yeah, he looked good. But he needed a Heat uniform on.
He needed a Heat uniform.
But Skip, outside of the first game, he been trashed now. Let's be real now. Don't pretend like he's been 6th man of the year, Tyler Hero.
But don't pretend like he wasn't due, because he came through due.
Well, they cost you due. That's the only due that you got.
He cost me due because he would have tilted that game in Miami's favor.
Skip, it is so hard. Think about how late in the shot clock or the offensive rebounds that you guys got to get and put back in. You guys are not getting no easy baskets. Benson is dribbling, and the shot clock goes off. He drains one. Somebody else drains a shot late in the shot clock. It is so difficult for you guys to get points in your half-court set. So now the Celtics stop turning the ball over. When JB got hot in the third, when he couldn't miss a three, and him and JT was just taking turns, because JT got it going. And then he stood back and let JB start doing his thing. And once they got it going, Skip, that game, you're right, that game was begging. And I was just saying to myself, man, if Boston can just take the lead and get like a 4-point lead, man, that thing went from 4 to 23 in a hurry.
It did, because it was teetering on blowout for the longest time. But it also resembled dangerously Game 3 when they just kept hanging in, and somebody would make an unlikely shot and an unlikely shot until Strus finally shot one up off the ceiling, right?
Yes.
That switched with 2 minutes left, and it felt like that was the dagger.
Right. But, Skip, if you remember, even in Game 1, Jimmy Butler was hitting shots. Jayson Tatum just dropped his head. He's like, Coach, I don't even know what you want me to do. With no time on the clock, the man hits an 18-footer. And it's like every time Boston made a run, the Heat would neutralize it. And you mentioned Strus made that final shot. But Skip, if you take the third quarter of Game 1 and you take the first quarter of Game 3, Skip, Boston has dominated this series. They really have. And they really didn't get it. They hadn't gotten much out of Grant Williams the last 2 ball games. Skip, the biggest thing was Derek White. And I know his name is not, people are not talking about him because he didn't go off in the third quarter and fourth quarter like JB and JT.
That saved your bacon and your bet.
Him and Al Horford in the first half.
Especially Derek White.
Yeah, I like that.
An ex-Spur could do something, right?
Marcus Smart picked up them 2 early fouls. He didn't have it going last night, and Derek White came in and made. I was like, man, what are they gonna do now? And Marcus Smart was like, nah, leave me in. Nah, you come on over here with me. Derek White, do your thing. And Big Al Horford has been a godsend. Al Horford is playing his tail off, Skip. Big 3 after big 3, rebound, contesting shots, and Robert Williams, I don't know how he be coming from under the rim and guys shooting threes, Skip, and he throwing it up in the stands. But he's played, they're a very, very good defensive.
Tucker's getting thrown up in the stands because he shoots feet on the floor set shots from the corner, and that's all he's got. That's all he's got.
But he's a corner 3, Skip. He's going to play D. He gave you 5 offensive rebounds. Tuck gave you 11 rebounds.
He fought his tail off.
Yes.
So I know you don't keep the sound up on your TV, so you probably don't hear the commercials, but a line that's sung in the commercials stuck in my head all last night. I couldn't go to sleep with this line in my head. It's the Michelob commercial featuring my man, Jimmy Butler. Do you know it? It's a Hootie and the Blowfish song. Do you know it? The first line he sings is, "Ain't nothing I can do," right? I can't sing, but that's the line.
Right.
And it resonated in my head last night because truer words were never sung. Ain't nothing he can do because he's doing nothing.
Right.
I only want to be with you is the rest of the song.
I know it,
All right. So it's a great Hootie song.
Right.
But the point is, it is a nightmarish song for me because the first line is, "Ain't nothing I can do." Well, that sums up Jimmy Butler right now. There ain't nothing he can do on the basketball court. You want to talk about shell of himself. It's not even shell. You can take the S off shell. It's hell of himself, right? Because there's nothing left.
Yeah, but Skip, when you look at it, where are you supposed to get points from? Your backcourt good, or 15 or 12. P.J. Tucker is not an offensive guy. Skip, Bam is Bam. Bam gave you 18 and 10. That's what you pretty much expect of Bam. So Gabe Benson really he was terrible from 3, but, he got it going late. But when you look at this, Duncan Robinson can't play defense. That's why they went to Strus, because Strus can make the threes and he could play a little defense. I couldn't tell last night because they kept him and Kyle Lowry in the pick and roll.
I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate the Boston Celtics for advancing to the NBA Finals.
We're not there yet. We got one more. No.
It is kaput.
Hold on.
It is a done deal. Skip. It is officially, formally, unequivocally over.
Isn't it only right that the Boston Celtics get the Larry Bird trophy? Isn't it only fitting? How can you be in the Eastern Conference, a team that's won the tie with the Lakers for titles, and the first year in existence, somebody should get the the Larry Bird trophy from the Celtics? That's only fitting. The only other thing would have been fitting somebody from the Lakers get the Magic Johnson trophy.
Okay.
That's not going to happen this year.
That is obviously not going to happen.
But somebody from the Celtics go get that Larry Bird.
It's done. They should just go ahead and award it before Game 6 because there's no need to have a Game 6. As I tweeted last night, they should have just sent the Heat off the court in the fourth quarter because they were such a disgrace that they didn't belong on TV. They did not merit the TV time. They should have just filled it with interviews of the Celtics through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that 15%. I mean, they skipped. They shot 32% from the floor. They got up 94 shots. Skip, they got up 23 more shots than the Celtics.
Yeah, it's because of the offensive rebounds and the turnovers.
Yeah.
But look how many they missed. I mean, is that not just
They
all-time?
shot 15% from the three.
Right? Okay, but look how many they missed, total shots.
Yeah, they missed 64 shots.
64 shots?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, y'all brick masons.
Huh? Well, not in the regular season. Right?
I keep telling you the regular season doesn't matter in the postseason.
Well,
it's a different game. This game is about adjustments. It's about matchup.
Not
this
in
is
the
a
first
bad matchup.
12 games of the playoffs where they brick
The
masons.
Celtics are a bad matchup for you. They're no good. They're no good for you.
The Celtics tried everything in their pathetic power to hand this game to the Heat last night, and the Heat would not accept.
You couldn't
it's
take it.
as simple as that.
Yeah, Skip, if I offer you something and you don't take it,
That
well,
is
I'm just going to go ahead and take it back because you don't want it.
Yep. The NBA should be ashamed.
No, you should be ashamed. You picked them. I gave you 6 points. Will you tell the people at home that I gave you 6 points when the line was only 1 and beat you?
You just told them.
Oh, my bad. But I really didn't want to hear from you. They'd like to hear your voice. Tell them one more time. What happened?
I've said enough.
No,
I am over and I'm done.
No,
You
you're
can
not.
speak
No,
for the
you're not.
rest of the show. You won the right. You can carry every topic. I'm going to sit over here and just listen to you bloviate.
No, Skip. But you up there, I got 90 cases. I should be in the Hall of Fame. Are you sure you're in the Hall of Fame? Because I keep taking cases of due off you.
I like it when you imitate me.
Yeah. Now,
do a
look,
good job of
I'm about to get 8 cases off the Celtics. I told you. I said they're going to win the next 3 games.
Okay, so you only owe me 82 cases. Congratulations.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.